Welcome to Aeonium Glow. If your succulent is going backwards and your watering has not changed, something else is on it. Something small, usually hiding underneath the leaves, and it has a 2-week clock you need to know about. We are doing this in 2 parts. So let's start with part 1, how to find out exactly what you are dealing with.
Your succulent looks perfectly fine. It has looked fine for weeks. Then, one morning, you notice a tiny speck of white fluff tucked between the leaves, or a strange brown bump along the stem. It feels like the problem just happened overnight, but it didn't. Most leafy houseplants show distress in days, but succulents operate on a much slower timeline. A plant can lose significant fluid and still look structurally unchanged because it lacks the fast-growing tissue that would normally wilt or discolor to signal stress. The tight spiraling growth creates deep crevices at the base of every leaf, completely shielded from a casual glance. Succulents also have a waxy cuticle that masks early feeding marks. Damage happens beneath this protective shield, hidden until the infestation breaks the surface. Because succulents prefer to dry out, we water them infrequently. A plant that is only inspected every 2 or 3 weeks gives a pest population multiple generations to establish itself before it's ever noticed. By the time you spot a pest with the naked eye, the population is already thriving. You are joining a fight that began weeks ago, and the window to stop a collection-wide outbreak is closing fast. Mealybugs are the most common threat. They appear as harmless white cottony fluff, but that fluff is actually a waxy ovisac. Inside, a single female can hide hundreds of eggs, all waiting to hatch simultaneously. They cluster in the plant's most protected zones: leaf axils, rosette centers, and even beneath the soil line. Root mealybugs are especially dangerous because they can drain a plant's energy for a full season without ever being visible above ground. They feed using a needle-like mouthpart called a stylet. They pierce the plant's plumbing and lock in, siphoning out the sugary sap. Because they drink rather than chew, the structural damage remains invisible until the plant begins to lose its overall vigor. This feeding produces a sticky waste called honeydew. It attracts ants, which have learned to farm and defend mealybugs from predators. It also provides a surface for sooty mold, a black fungus that often serves as the first visible clue that a sap feeder is present. If you see ants patrolling your plant or notice a sticky film on the leaves, mealybugs are likely already deep in the rosette. The presence of these secondary signs means the first generation has already matured and is currently producing the next hatch. Scale insects disguise themselves as part of the plant, appearing as small brown bumps or scabs along woody stems. Once they settle as adults, they never move again, making them incredibly difficult to distinguish from natural bark. Their survival depends on their waxy coating. Soft scale has a coating that is part of its body, but armored scale takes protection to a biological extreme. Armored scale builds a hard dome that is entirely separate from its body. The insect lives in the gap beneath this shield, physically isolated from the environment and any surface treatments you might apply. This shield protects them from contact sprays. While a treatment might kill the soft-bodied adults, the armored ones remain unharmed. They only become vulnerable when their eggs hatch into crawlers, tiny mobile nymphs that must leave the shield to find a new spot to settle. Because the armored adults repel sprays, an infestation will continue to spread every 7 to 10 days as new crawlers emerge. Stopping them requires physically scraping away the shields to reach the insects hidden underneath. Spider mites are microscopic arachnids, not insects. You will likely never see an individual mite. Instead, you see the collective damage of a colony that has been growing for days or weeks. They don't drink sap. Instead, they pierce and empty individual leaf cells. This creates a pattern called stippling, thousands of tiny, pale dots that give the leaf a dusty, silvery, or bronzed appearance. In hot, dry conditions, their life cycle accelerates. A new generation can reach maturity in just 7 days. As the population explodes, they weave fine, silky webbing to protect the colony and move between plants on air currents. By the time you see webbing, the colony is already in a state of rapid expansion. Their microscopic size and 7-day generation time mean they can bridge the gap from a few hidden individuals to a collection-wide crisis in 1 week. Spotting even one mealybug or scale bump means the biological clock has been running for weeks. You are seeing the visible result of a cycle that is about to hit an exponential tipping point. This is why the next 14 days are critical. Within 7 to 10 days, eggs in those ovisacs and shields hatch into a mobile generation. By day 14, new crawlers mature and begin laying eggs on every surrounding plant. Most pests enter a home as hitchhikers on a new plant. If you haven't quarantined a new arrival, that 14-day window is the difference between treating one plant and losing an entire shelf. Finding them early is simply a matter of consistent observation. Spend 2 minutes today performing a manual inspection. Open the tight centers, check the leaf axils, and look for stem bumps. The goal is to interrupt the life cycle before that 14-day explosion occurs. Finding a pest marks the start of a specific rescue protocol. Now that you know how they hide and how quickly they move, you can begin the isolation and treatment schedule needed to save your collection.
So that was part 1, and now you know what is on the plant and roughly how many. But knowing is not fixing, and this is where most people go wrong. They treat once, see nothing moving, and stop. Everything you just saw hatches again in about 2 weeks. Up next is part 2, the rescue, and why it only works if you finish the whole fortnight.
Welcome back to Aeonium Glow. In part 1, we identified the 3 silent killers: mealybugs, scale, and spider mites. Today, we act on that critical 2-week window you have from the moment you spot the first sign of trouble. Pests arrive as hitchhikers on new plants, tools, or even your hands. They are a delivery problem, and finding them is never a reflection of your skills as a plant parent. We are going to solve that problem today. I will walk you through a professional rescue protocol, isolating the plant, physically removing the adults, and breaking the egg cycle with a repeat schedule. To start, gather your tools. You'll need a bottle of 70% isopropyl alcohol, cotton swabs, a blunt plastic scraper, an old credit card is perfect, access to a sink, and a calendar. Having these items ready allows you to skip the panic of a last-minute scramble and move directly into a calm, effective routine. Containment is your first priority. Move the infested plant to a separate room or a shelf with no shared airflow and no leaf contact with the rest of your collection. Now give the plant a full 2-minute assessment. Gently open the center of the rosettes, turn the leaves to inspect the undersides, and scan the stem all the way to the soil line. This assessment tells you whether to treat or cut. If the pests are localized to a few clusters, we can begin treatment immediately. However, if the infestation has reached the core, if the rosette center is mushy or the roots are heavily covered in mealybugs, the most effective rescue is to take clean cuttings from healthy, unaffected growth and discard the original plant. Physically moving the plant before you start treatment is the most reliable way to ensure the rest of your collection stays safe. With the plant isolated, we start step 2, removing the pests you can actually see. Physical removal is the only method that works reliably on visible adult pests across all 3 species. For mealybugs and soft scale, dip a cotton swab in your 70% isopropyl alcohol and dab every white mass or soft bump you find. The alcohol dissolves the waxy coating that protects the insect. This causes the pest to dehydrate and die on contact. Alcohol alone won't work on armored scale. These insects live under a hard, separate shield that keeps liquids away from their bodies. Use your blunt scraper to gently flick those hard brown bumps off the stems. Once the shields are gone, wipe the area with alcohol to catch any remaining residue. For spider mites, use a firm stream of water in the sink to blast the undersides of the leaves. This physically dislodges the mites and destroys their protective silk webbing. Because mites thrive in dry air, follow the water blast by raising the humidity with a pebble tray or a clear bag. Moisture slows their reproduction and gives your treatment time to work. Always wash your hands and clean your tools as soon as you're finished to avoid moving hitchhikers to other plants. Physically dismantling the visible population is the only way to stop immediate feeding damage. Step 3 is the most important part of the rescue. A single pass of physical removal almost always fails to cure a plant long-term. Adult pests leave behind eggs that are protected from your initial treatment. Within days, those eggs hatch into a new generation of mobile crawlers. To catch those crawlers before they can settle, repeat the removal process every 7 to 10 days. Perform 2 to 3 rounds. Consider the plant rescued only after 2 consecutive weekly checks show no signs of life. Following this calendar strictly is the only way to fully break the pest's life cycle. Prevention is much easier than a rescue. Pests usually enter a collection on new nursery plants, so the front door is your best defense. Give every new plant a 4-week quarantine period on a separate shelf. Check it twice a week during this window. Let's look at 3 scenarios you might find. Scenario 1. White fuzz deep in an Echeveria rosette. These are mealybugs. Use the alcohol swab and repeat schedule. Scenario 2. Sticky leaves and hard brown stem bumps. This is a mix of soft and armored scale. Use the scrape and swab method. Scenario 3. A dusty-looking rosette center with fine webbing. These are spider mites. Use the water blast and increase the humidity. Using the quarantine window to catch these signs early keeps the rest of your collection safe. The healthiest collections are simply the ones where the grower looks closely. Consistent observation is the only way to catch pests while they are still a minor inconvenience. A scheduled weekly routine keeps you ahead of the 2-week window. Take 2 minutes right now to check your plants. You have the diagnostic skills to see exactly what's happening in those tight spaces.
So that is the full rescue. The part to hold on to is the calendar, because stopping early is what brings them back. Tell me in the comments what you found on yours, and how far in you are. And if you would rather not have this happen again, the next one is about the soil, because that is usually where they arrive from.